But I've got news for you. You're mine.
Let me set up here real quick. What's up, everyone? Joining the live stream here at Round One Sports Talk. I am your host, Edwin, and we have an amazing show for you here today. If you like the video, give the videos a like. Don't forget, and please subscribe to the channel. Let me set up here for a second, and we're going to get right to this video. Somehow I am. Let me know that you can hear me loud and clear when you come into the live stream. Probably pump up that output a little. Maybe the mic might be. What about right there? Can you guys hear me loud and clear? That's what's up, guys. What's up, fight fans? We are back at it with another one. How you guys doing out there? I've been really busy of days of late, man. I've been in my house painting, and boy, man, I must have forgot what it was like to ever paint something, man, right? It was a mission. I got paint everywhere. I got more paint on myself than I did on the walls, put it that way, and then you go thinking that you're going to get like that blue strip tape, and I was all fancy with it, and I was putting the tape, and then I peeled the tape, and it took the paint off. I had to start over. It was fucking crazy. So anyway, fight fans, I'm exhausted, but I wanted to come on, hop on, and make this video because one of the best fighters we have in current day today, Naoya the Monster Inoue, is fighting. It's coming up rapidly, just around the corner, September 3rd. It'll be here before the Saul Canelo Alvarez and Edgar Berlanga fight. So I can't wait to see him back in the ring. And if you're not familiar with Naoya Inoue, the monster, well, this is the fight channel to learn about him. He is one of the best fighters we have today, and arguably either number one or number two behind Terrence Crawford, right? And that's saying a lot in itself. When they're comparing you to a man such as Terrence Crawford, boy, let's take a look at this guy. Naoya Inoue was born in Japan. He came up in the Japan amateur scene. He had a pretty decent amateur Japan record. He didn't make his Olympic team. I don't know how, but it just goes to show you that Naoya Inoue fighting style was already catered to a more pro style boxing. You see, it wasn't that he was losing in the amateurs or anything, but he had made the decision at 19 to take a shot at professional boxing. And at only 19 years old, Naoya Inoue started, I believe, his first fight at an 8-round scheduled fight. Now that's saying a lot for a 19-year-old, 5'5", 108-pound Japanese fighter. Okay, when typically your normal boxer will start his career off with a 4-rounder. What separates the amateurs and pros is that 1 round. The amateurs, you fight 3-round fights, right? And in the pros, you can start with 4 rounds and then work your way up. Well, Naoya Inoue, in fact, started his career. He started his career with a scheduled. Wait a minute, who's this? Naoya Inoue. Yeah, he started his career with an 8-round fight. He stopped the guy in the 4th round. His second professional fight was also an 8-round fight, and his next 2 fights were both scheduled 10-round fights. After that, all his fights after that, he were scheduled 12-round fights. Okay? Naoya Inoue, it only took, look, when you're coming up throughout the rankings, right? Let's say in America, anywhere in the world, you want to prove that you're that country's best fighter. So you're going to go after titles like the Japanese, what was it right here? The Japanese Boxing Commission, right? Japan flyweight, right? The Oriental and Pacific Boxing Federation. That's not a real world title, but when you can secure titles like that, that means that you're the man from where you're from. Those kind of belts. In America, we got like regular interim silvers, intercontinental, the WBC, and etc. and so forth and so forth. And you would like your fighter to get those kind of belts so that they can prove themselves that he's ready to fight for a world championship. Naoya Inoue, only in his 6th professional fight, did as such. He contended and fought for a world title. The WBC world title was the first belt Naoya Inoue ever won at 108 pounds. 108 pounds. I don't remember the last time I ever weighed 108 pounds, right? And it goes to show where this man is coming from. Stay with me. We're diving into one of the best fighters we have currently today. And if you want to know more about him, let's find out. With only 6 professional fights, he moves up, right? And he contends and he fights Adrian Hernandez. Now, Adrian Hernandez was a seasoned vet. He had never been knocked out in his career. He held that belt for over 4 years in that weight division. There was no possibility that a 19-year-old, 5'5" Japanese kid, barely starting out his pro career with only 5 fights scheduled, coming into our fight, that's the 6th fight, there's no way that a guy with only 5 fights is going to come in and beat me. I'm Adrian Hernandez. I am a seasoned vet. I've been a world champion for over 4 years, and I definitely ain't never been knocked out, and I'm not going to get knocked out by no 5'5" Japanese fighter. That's how Adrian Hernandez must have felt, you know? And lo and behold, what happened? Adrian Hernandez, with all of his skill and all of his title run and never being knocked out, went up against Naoya Inoue, the monster. And how did it fare up? Adrian Hernandez only lasted 6 rounds. And he didn't win a single round in the match. All 6 rounds, it was a complete shutout. Complete dominance by a 19-year-old kid with only 5 professional fights. Came in that night and did that to that kind of champion. That's what kind of shit Naoya Inoue was on from the beginning, off rip. From the moment, and I mean the moment, he secured and won his first world title, Naoya Inoue wanted to prove to the boxing world who he is. Since that time till present day, he's going into, his 22nd consecutive world title fight. He has only competed and fought for world titles. Interesting enough, you would think just because it rolls off the tip of my tongue that that's easy. You have to keep it in mind that we're talking about a fighter that moved up 4 weight divisions, and we're soon going to get there. Stay with me. When he won the title with only 6 professional fights, Naoya Inoue then goes and he defends the belt. Defends the belt several times before taking a leap that most fighters wouldn't take. Now, this is the type of leap that we're talking about Terrence Crawford making to fight Saul Canelo Alvarez. 2 weight divisions. This is the type of leap that Jamel Charlo did to go pursue that fantasy fight against Saul Canelo Alvarez. This is the type of leap this young man did at only 20 years old. Okay? He moved up with his only 8th professional fight. He moved up not one weight division, but 2. He jumped up from the 108 to the 115. He bypassed an entire weight division, not impressive enough to do so. When we have witnessed men that have tried to do this, Jamel Charlo, and boy, did he look bad. David the Monster Benavidez moved up one weight division, and he didn't look all that great. Neither did fighters like David Morrell. A lot of fighters moved up in weight, and they're saying that Terrence Crawford, now all of a sudden at 154, guess what? His power didn't transition with him from 147, according to some boxing fans. That's just one weight division. Naoya Inoue jumps up 2. Not only did he jump up 2, he immediately challenged the champion at 115. Now the champion, he goes up. He contends Omeo Nieves. Oman Nieves, right? He fights him at 115 for the WBO World Championship. Now, I understand on this box record right now, they have eliminated the WBA championships, but I'm going to try to fill in the blanks with my memory. So if I miss a belt, let me know. All right. Because they don't got them up here right now on Box Rec. And they're not, I don't know what's going on with them, but they're like the only website that's doing it, ironically. I don't know what's going on. But so when he fought him, Naoya Inoue, 20, 21 years old, this man had 43 professional fights with 1 loss and 2 no contests, right? 43 professional fights. He reigned supreme in that division. He never got knocked out. In fact, the only fighter that Nieves lost to was the one and only Hall of Fame Tj Dohney, the Flash. And that's when the Flash was the Flash. And he took the Flash 12 rounds, bro. The Flash couldn't knock him out. No one could knock this man out. 43 professional fights, bro. He was, talk about a veteran. There is no way, and I repeat, there is no way that a 5'5", 108 pound that's moving up to 115 with making 2 jumps, not 1 jump, 2 jumps, gonna come up and knock me out and take my belt when I have 4 fighters such as Tj Dohney, Hall of Fame, 3-division world champion, right? There's no way this Japanese dude is walking. Yes, I'll take that fight. He took that fight. He lasted. It was a 12-round scheduled bout. He lasted 2 rounds. Never been knocked out in his 43-fight career. He ain't never came up against a man to put him on his back. Naoya Inoue whooped his, and when I mean he beat him like he stole something. Listen, go check that fight out. It was remarkable to see, right? Then Naoya Inoue just continues to do monster stuff. He just takes that title. I believe he defended it 7 consecutive times. After he does that, and he's dominating the 115 weight division, which there was like nobody standing in his way, right? At which point, then he gets bored with 115. He decides that he wants to move up once again. Now, this would be entering his 3rd weight division at 118, from 115 to 118. Entering the 118, the man that took the title fight was Jermaine McDonald. Jermaine McDonald at that time had 29. Right now his record's 29-2-1. Entering the Naoya Inoue fight, what was it? What was his record entering the Naoya? Wait a minute, no, he's 31 now. He got 31 fights, so he was 29, right? And Naoya Inoue put one of those losses on his record. I'm not sure what. See, I can't always trust the boxing record now because I know their system is off. But if my memory serves me correctly, McDonald was a champion for over 4.5 years in that weight division at 115, right? No, 118 at one. Excuse me, at 118. He was unbeaten for 10 years. He was champion for over 4 years, and he has never been knocked out in his entire career. Knocked out. Never been knocked out in his entire career. Moving up a new adjacent weight division, Naoya Inoue, 12 round schedule bout, right? He entered with him against Jermaine McDonald. It took him 1 round to knock him out. 1 round. And by the way, McDonald had all the height in the world. Naoya Inoue entered his backyard, moving up 1 more weight division, no tune-up fight, going to enemy's territory, a guy that never been knocked out, been the champion for over 4 years. Everything was stacked against Naoya Inoue. Naoya Inoue dispersed of that man in 1 round. 1 round. The majority of the Naoya Inoue's victims is just a bunch of highlight reel knockouts. You can go check it out. I bet you they got them all over YouTube. His career has been nothing but short of spectacular. It's just one vicious knockout after the next, and one more slicker than the next one. As he kept moving up, he even entered the World Series of Boxing. When he entered the World Series of Boxing, he entered, it was the first World Series. That's the first Muhammad Ali trophy that was ever handed out. And Naoya Inoue, threw his belt, his name in the mix with all fighters from all over around the world. And they all competed to see who was going to be the best bantamweight when all the smoke cleared. When it was all said and done, Naoya Inoue reigned supreme. His last fight was against Tj Dohney, which that fight is a classic. And he was nursing a major injury he sustained only in the second round. For like 10 more rounds, he was fighting with a broken orbital bone. And that's tough to do because most men would have conceded with a broken orbital bone. But this guy right here, Naoya Inoue, he's really showed different levels of boxing. I've always asked questions about a boxer. I've seen men get knocked out before. I've seen fast guys, speed guys, think guys, patient guys. I've seen it all before in boxing. I'm not very easily impressed. It's not the first time I ever seen somebody get knocked out, right? So it's just the things that he does. And when I ask questions about a fighter, well, he looks good when he's beating up on dudes. Let's see if somebody ever, steps to him in a fight. And we saw that many times. Great fights like Tj Dohney and some legendary fights when he fought some of his countrymen, also Japanese fighters. Ryu, and that was a great fight in itself. And he's had some pretty decent fights, but it speaks to the level and how good and dominant he truly is. When I asked to see one day, I said, I've never seen Naoya Inoue down on the ground. I've never seen him knocked down. What would that do to you? Every man ain't built the same. I can't say because I'll do something that you should react the same way. No, everyone's unique and different. Let's see when it happens. And it finally happened against Luis Pantera Nari, didn't it? What happened after he got up? He really showed his championship pedigree. He showed his warrior heart. It was on full display. He wasn't running away. He wasn't tying up, clinching. You know how they tell most fighters, clinch, clinch, you're hurt. He clinched one time in that entire fight when he was hurt. The rest was moving and evading, using his footwork and his boxing IQ to get himself out of the situation. Once his head cleared, he started to implementing his fighting style in that fight. And it really talks about how Naoya Inoue as a fighter, like, and I keep asking different questions. You know, what would he do against a lefty? What would he do against a wild man, a brawler, a pressure fighter, a tall fighter, a rangy fighter? He's fought them all. He's answered and checked most of the boxes I would, you know, think to ask about a fighter, because there is truly some things in the gym you can't train for. And that's to see if what kind of warrior your fighter truly is. There have been men going in the ring that they would have swore that you would have to kill them in there, and the fight was beaten right out of them, and they conceded. I've seen that. Talk is cheap. Any man can talk. It's what you do inside of the ring. And in a lot of moments and a lot of occasions that I witnessed throughout Naoya Inoue's career, different fights, different situations, I noticed and I learned something from him every time I saw him fight. You know, you have to admit, some people were saying that, oh, look, Naoya Inoue, name me a pound for pound fighter this year that was dropped, right? Well, okay, name me a pound for pound fighter this year that secured all 4 belts and 2 separate weight divisions within 6 months of each other. I'll wait. You are in a fight, aren't you? You are getting punches thrown your way. It might be a strong possibility you can go down. You mean to tell me that you would need to hold on to something that happened in a ring than the actual outcome of the fight? What took place for a brief moment in your mind is more important than the outcome of the fight? That's absurd. You should have looked at that fight and said, yeah, although he was down, look how he responded by dropping his guy 3 times. And the last time, guess what? Where he put him at? He's about to put Luis Pantera Nari on a candidate ballot for knockout of the year. There's going to be a hall with hundreds of people watching the footage of Luis's head snapping back like that once again. That's what he did for that man right there that put him down. He's about to put him on a tumbletron for people to vote over the violent nature of how he got knocked out because he put Naoya Inoue down. Now tell me, who got the last laugh? You're actually getting elected for knockout of the year. I'm not saying Naoya Inoue is going to win, but elected if good enough. You're going on the tumbletron, buddy. So hold that. Naoya Inoue, listen, after that, after beating Jason McDonald, he went on in the 118 pounds and secured all belts. He's a greedy champion. He doesn't like anybody else being called champion in his weight division. Now he kind of set a little trend for himself that every weight division that Naoya Inoue enters, he becomes the king. He immediately wants to contend for all titles. Now, entering the 118, securing all 4 belts, entering 122. This is a big moment in Naoya Inoue's boxing career because this is when they said Naoya Inoue was going to come up against the American Slick Style, Stephen Kubo Fulton. Moving up in weight, by the way, no tune-up fight. Who do you want to fight? Not a regular champion. I want to fight a 2-time unified world champion that's also undefeated. That's who that Japanese dude picked to fight for moving up another weight division. I want to repeat this, that even the greats, Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali, Muhammad, he was a heavyweight, but let's use Floyd, right? And any of your favorite fighter in the world, anytime they ever move up to the adjacent weight division, they usually take what we call in the fight business a tune-up fight to get acclimated to the division, because you're moving up another weight and these guys crack different. Meaning, from 147 and down, you wear 8-ounce gloves. From 154 and up, you wear 10-ounce gloves. So you were wearing 2-ounce gloves heavier. So when Terrence Crawford made that jump from 8-ounce gloves to 10-ounce gloves, I didn't hear a lot of people talking about it, but I thought about it, because that makes a difference too. That's 2 more ounces. You know, you don't think that's a lot, right? But it starts to weigh after a while, and you got to get adjusted to these type of things and type of situations and your body size and how hard these guys hit. Naoya Inoue was doing this, but he was taking on the champions. That's what makes his run so legendary. You know, and let me stop right here and just point out one simple thing, right? Although you might say Terrence Crawford fought the more named guys or the bigger guys or whatever, that's a bullshit cop-out. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if you're at work and you're working and the boss comes in and says, you know what? The guy across the street is a better worker than you and he doesn't even work for us. That would be some bullshit. How the hell are you going to walk in and say that my work, you didn't judge me to anybody else in our office, in our building. You didn't compare me to any other worker in the building. What you did was compare me to the worker across the street that don't work for us. Well, what the fuck did the worker across the street got to do with my performance? What does that got to do with me? Same thing with Naoya Inoue and Terrence Crawford. What does Terrence Crawford's division and who he fights got to do with Naoya Inoue? He can only be judged for his weight division and the men that are there. If those guys are not there, or whoever, what have you, is not there, King Kong or Godzilla, who I don't know what you guys want, because he fought nothing but world champions. He beat world champions. In fact, just like to paint a picture, the guys that he beat later on went and got their belts back. Maloney went back and got his belt. Rodriguez went back and got a belt. Donaire went back and got a belt after losing to the Japanese. Do you see what I'm saying here? That means that his competition was top tier. That means that what that says is, had it not been for the Japanese dude, no one else beats me. And if you're saying that Naoya Inoue's division is so weak in fact, and it's so easy to do what he's doing, why hasn't there been another human in history to ever do what he's done in the bantamweight division? I'll wait. Out of all the great bantamweight champions that ever existed, not one of them has ever even remotely come close to the stats and accolades that Naoya Inoue is putting up in the bantamweight division. Although, what you can say is, there has been another person to do what Terrence Crawford did. Meaning, not one person did what he did by itself. Meaning, at 140 pounds, has there ever been a unified world champion? An undisputed world champion at 140? Ever in boxing history? I'll wait. Has there? Yes, there has. At 147, has there ever been a unified and undisputed world champion at 147? Yes, there has. But in Naoya Inoue's weight, they never has. There's been unified, but not undisputed. They haven't even come close, like ever in the history books. So if it's so easy to do what he's doing, there's been men that did it in your weight division, Terrence Crawford, before. No one has ever done it where Naoya Inoue's done it. And no one behind him. If it's so easy to do, the men he beat, every division he left, why hasn't somebody else just say, you know what? Look at copy, paste, print. I'm going to do exactly what he did. I'm going to clean house. Why hasn't nobody done it? Because they can't do it. Those little bantamweight dudes are some of the fastest fighters in all of boxing. They don't got a lot of power, though. Naoya Inoue is the one that brought that to them. And if you're finding about Naoya Inoue, it's because of what he's doing inside of the ring. They're comparing him to Terrence Crawford. You see what I'm saying? And on paper, Naoya Inoue is better. But Terrence Crawford's just the bigger man. The truth be told, Terrence will kill Naoya Inoue in a fight. He's just too big for him. But that's not what we're talking about. Where we judge boxers and we talk about boxers, it's about your performance in the ring, no matter what your weight division is. That's how we judge you. Are you the best fighter? Where does the best fighter in the world come from? And who is the best fighter? And what does he look like while fighting? And although sometimes people might get captivated in fights and see knockouts and really fill in the blanks for their fighters, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's like Superman to you. Be careful with that. Be very careful, because as a fan, I've been hurt before. My legend, Mike Tyson, I watched him fall in that Tokyo Dome against Buster Douglas. And that did something to me, man. I cried all night. I cried myself to sleep, I think, that night. I really did. I put everything into this man that I believe was Superman. And it taught me a valuable lesson in fighting. That if you think you're the baddest motherfucker on the planet, wait 1 minute. Here comes that man. Yeah. Naoya Inoue, there's some guy out there right now preparing, watching him, studying him. And he's going to build and devise a game plan that might just beat him. In this boxing game, it is not promised that you're going to walk out the game unscathed, 50-0. But that's a remarkable thing. That's just a personal thing. You don't get an award for retiring 50-0. There's no award for that. There's been plenty of fighters that have retired with more professional fights, undefeated. It's what you do within your time. That's what's important. What you're doing with the time you spent in your sport. Where did you accomplish? Where are your belts, your rings? Where are they? Where are your accolades? Talk is cheap. You can say you were the best. You can say you can beat this guy. You can say anything you want. But if you don't got the hardware to back it up, that's just talk. And when we're talking about one of the best fighters we have currently today, hands down, I got to admit, this Japanese superstar right here is something else. And he's something, listen, tune in September 3rd. He's going to be going up against Tj Dohney. And I remind you, the number 2 ranked fighter in the world is Tj Dohney for one major sanctioning body in his weight division. And according to most fight fans, that because of the fact that he's fighting the number 2 ranked opponent, that's actually a step down for the type of fights they're used to seeing this man take on. If that doesn't speak louder than words, and you don't catch on to that little thing, what'd you just say? You mean to tell me he's fighting against the number 2 ranked fighter in the world, and that's not enough? That's how nasty this man is. That's how dangerous he is, that they will quickly dismiss the number 2 ranked fighter in the world and say, you know what? He ain't even good enough. Hot damn, let me tell you who I am. Listen, that's scary. Let's get these likes up, damn it. Can we hit these likes? Let's talk about it, people. Let's talk about it. What are you guys talking about over here? What's up, Bam Bam? What's up, Frontline? How you doing? Yes. And Billy, I was wanting to talk about that fight. That's the next fight that's coming up right now. Do a lot of people really like this fight? You know, his opponent that he's fighting against, and then the way he struggled in his last fight. Look, I think he gets the job done, Billy. I think he gets the job done. Um, I mean, I would have liked to see him fight, some different people, but uh, it is what it is. It is what it is, and we're gonna be getting that fight. So, and then the Saul Canelo Alvarez fight is coming up with Edgar Berlanga. And then we're going to have a lot to talk about that fight. I think Edgar Berlanga needs to slow down and pump his brakes, but we'll talk about that. Let me talk about a little bit about Tj Dohney here, because as you can see, I was breaking down Naoya Inoue's impressive career. So Tj Dohney is a tough Irishman. He's really tough, right? He's one of those guys that sometimes he's too tough for himself. Yeah, he's got a warrior's heart. He just wasn't blessed with all the skills in the world, but it didn't deter him from lacing it up every day in and out of the gym, them telling him that he would never be a world champion. And then he achieved his dream on one night. That was a man you couldn't tell to stop. And those kind of men are dangerous any fight. Coming into a fight with Naoya Inoue when you're being paid the most money you probably ever made, and the one thing that's always eluded any fighter is all 4 belts. And you mean to tell me on one night you're giving me an opportunity to win all 4 belts? Tj Dohney can change his stars in one night. Fight fans, don't be fooled. A fight is a fight. And if you're the number 2 ranked opponent in the world, it's for a reason. I understand he's coming off a little bit of layoff, but his last 3 wins were in Japan in a row. So the Japanese fans have seen him beat fellow Japanese fighters, and they want a little get back. They want a little get back. So Tj Dohney, he says, sign me up. Listen, he got nothing to lose and everything to win. And when you're fighting a man that got nothing to lose, he's dangerous. That man is a dangerous man. Tj Dohney saw how Luis Pantera Nari had an opportunity and let it slip right out of his fingers. The whole world saw Naoya Inoue kiss the canvas on that day. I saw it. Right? And you think Tj Dohney ain't thinking about that? You think Tj Dohney ain't saying that could be me, but I could finish him? You think Tj Dohney ain't betting on himself? If you were Tj Dohney, how would you take this fight? Would you bet on yourself, or would you think you was going to go in that fight and lose? Fuck no. I'm a fighter. And as long as I'm a fighter and I've trained my whole life and I got the kind of career Tj Dohney and I was him, yeah, I got a shot. Yeah, I got a shot. You can't tell me nothing. If Buster Douglas knocked out Mike Tyson, Tj Dohney got a shot, damn it. He's got a shot. Yeah, he does. So we got ourselves a fight. And make no mistake, this ain't no tomato can. Okay? Sam Goodman wouldn't take this fight, and this man did. We got to give him credit. We got to give Tj Dohney that credit. Can't wait to hear that bell sound off for round 1 start. Pun intended. Tj Dohney and Naoya Inoue into that ring, and I see Naoya Inoue in one corner, and I see Tj Dohney in another corner, and I know I got myself a fight, and I know right now that we got ourselves a mother Dohney, my man. Woo! Hit it with the 10-piece. Hit it with the piece. Yeah. What's up? 04 lot 1. What's up? All the talk, but where is Fulton and MJ? These guys are clowns. Biggest lottery ticket in Naoya's phone. Yeah, 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 baby. You know it. You know it. Listen, remarkably, during this time, if we work our memories, and I'm here just to do that because this is my boxing channel and this is what I do. I report boxing, and let's take you back a little trip of memory lane. When Naoya Inoue knocked out Luis Pantera Nari, Sam Goodman jumps in the ring and he tells him, yo, vacate the belt to fight me. I've been the mandatory for over the year. Remember, he taking step aside money and all that because he did, right? When he did all of this, that's what direction Naoya Inoue thought he was going to go. When he got the phone call that Sam Goodman was pulling out of the fight to take a tune-up fight and then come back to the Naoya Inoue fight, that left Naoya Inoue for no opponent in September. So they quickly had to start to look for a fighter. Bro, as soon as the boxing world found out that Goodman dropped, Naoya Inoue's scheduled open opportunity. 4 belts on the line. Come get it, boys. Anybody hungry? Anybody want that free smoke? We're giving out free smokes and 4 belts right here, right now. Just act now. And the phone line was dead. Yo, did you pay the phone bill? Ain't nobody calling. Where y'all at? Where's Stevie Kubo Fulton? Where's MJ? Where they at? Where's Casamera? Where they at? Bro, not one of them mofos picked up the phone. And you could see the reason why I bring this up is because Stephen Kubo Fulton just had a fight scheduled, right? He had a fight. I didn't even watch it, bro. I would have liked to. Did that fight actually kick off? Because I saw the announcement, but unfortunately, there was 2 other fights I was covering. And I couldn't get all 3 fights. I was like, fuck. I was meaning to catch up on it. But that means that Stephen Kubo Fulton 100% could have been ready for Naoya Inoue September 3rd. 100%. Yes. I would have dropped whatever cab driver they put in front of me to get redemption against Naoya Inoue and get my belts back. They might, you know what I'm saying? But all the belts weren't his, but you know what I mean. Get my belt plus 2 because it would have been for 4. Where was Stephen Kubo Fulton? MJ started, a manager, promoter, started making outlandish claims, ridiculous claims to take the fight just for them to price themselves out. That's what MJ's promoter did. Bob Arum got fed up with his shit. Yeah. Where was Casamera? Casamera was under his bed. They couldn't find him. He wouldn't come outside. He wouldn't show his face until Tj Dohney saved the motherfucking day, bro. Thank you, Tj Dohney, for stepping up and having the cojones to say, hey, I'll fight him. That's how we're here. Naoya Inoue didn't pick no duck. He didn't pick nobody. Nobody signed up. When opportunity came a knocking, everybody went a running. That's exactly what happened. And the only man that, like I said, that had the cojones to come up and fight Naoya Inoue was an Irish dude that's in his 36 or something, Tj Dohney. He had to save us. Because nobody else wanted to enter the ring with Naoya Inoue. Show me any of those fighters that reached out and said, hey, give me a shot at those 4 belts. That's a fucking lottery fight, bro. You hit the lottery. Crickets. Yo, no one answered the phone. And you guys think that we're going to get that fight with Sam Goodman? Nah. You guys got my receipts. I'm on video. You guys can go watch my video. I told you Sam Goodman wasn't going to fight Naoya Inoue, and I told you something was going to happen in that tuna fight that he was going to say, now I can't fight Naoya Inoue. In fact, he's reporting he broke not one hand, but both. He's saying he broke one and fractured the other, and that his injuries are too bad to make that date with Naoya Inoue, possibly November, December. At the closing of the year, Naoya wants to fight again. So Naoya Inoue is going to fight in December, more than likely. And who are we going to find? Who's the next guy that's going to step up and try to convince me that this guy wants to fight? Besides Casamera, online and all his antics, Casamera could have hopped over the line and put himself in position to a fight he really didn't deserve. If Casamera was that good, he should have kept his belt. He should have been in position already in front of all these guys, but he's not. But his opportunity came. And where was he? Nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. So now, Naoya Inoue, he said, and he went on this Japanese, I saw it, the posting. And in translation, Japan and Chinese can be misconstrued. And what he was trying to express, I believe, got misunderstood. Because I remember when he was entering with Stephen Kubo Fulton, just right after the Paul Butler fight, he went down to Freddie Roach's gym, Naoya Inoue. And he said he wanted to give himself 2 years in the next weight division before making a jump. When he made that jump from 108 to 115, that he fought 7 times before he got acclimated and said, I'm ready to move forward. You see, it's not really based on his weight. We can get an idea and we can make an assumption because he keeps coming into this next fight like 2 pounds heavier. So where Naoya Inoue is at in his training is that he's bringing himself with him. He's a really smart fighter. He doesn't allow the moment, money to dictate his moves. His moves are done professionally. His moves are done when he's ready. He's doing it the right way. He's not motivated or moved by money, fame, none of that shit. He's a true champion, Naoya Inoue. And what he's actually doing is saying that if you want to beat me, at least beat me. Don't drag me up 2 weight divisions, a weight division, and rush me to fight you and beat a watered down version of him. You're not beating him. You didn't beat him at his best. No one did. So how far is he going to go? So Naoya Inoue knows the responsibility as of a fighter. The responsibility of a fighter is no matter if you move up in weight, did you take the fight? Yeah, then you're responsible for the outcome. I don't want to hear excuses afterwards. No, I moved up. I wasn't acclimated. I rushed myself. We know this. But you took the fight. Before the fight, you were talking about you were going to knock him out. What happened? You got knocked out. So Naoya Inoue knows the responsibility and his job as a fighter that he is responsible for his outcome. So you're not going to get him on a bad day is what he's doing. He's saying, if you beat me, then you beat the best version of me. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair play. So he's moving the right way. And I'm not Naoya Inoue. I can't tell you when he's going to make that jump to 126. As we can see, the belts just changed once again in 126, right? And, oh yeah, hold on. We are speaking about the man here, right? So we should definitely throw him up there. There he is, Naoya Inoue, in all his belts and all his glory. You know what I'm saying? He is truly a special kind of fighter. And he is a lottery fight. And like I was expressing about TJ Dohney and the opportunity that he's being given, this is not an opportunity that any fighter just gets this kind of phone call. In fact, in the sport of boxing, Naoya Inoue is currently the only man that has all four belts. There is no other fighter in boxing right now that has all four belts. Only him. He is the only king in boxing right now. In fact, yes. Terrence Crawford just recently vacated all the 147 pounds, and there were rumors saying that Mario Barrio will be notified to the full upgrade of the WBC status at 147 pounds, but also that is being rumored that Devin the Dream Haney might be making his first ring appearance at 147 and challenging the champion for the WBC world title, which is Mario Barrio. So there's nothing official with that. There's no contracts been sent over. It was just like, a statement that could be because Devin Haney is in bed with the WBC, and he has been. The WBC was his first world title, and he's had three no he's had two WBC world titles in two separate weight divisions, and that would be his third. So he's done a lot of business with the WBC franchise, organization. So I think that logically he would be fighting Mario Barrio, and that actually, in fact, would be a good comeback fight for Devin the Dream Haney. So listen, guys, tell me what you guys think, about this upcoming fight with Naoya Inoue. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait. I can't wait to see the man back in action, because it's like when you watch the best in anything, and it's up to your opinion. If you love Terrence Crawford or Tank Davis or Usyk, that's what's up with me. You know what I'm saying? That's your fighter, and I suggest you support your fighter. But boxing is not just about one fighter. Boxing is about hundreds of fighters, and we as fans, we can pick and choose all the fighters we like. If, for God's sake, if I wanted to have a fighter in each weight division, that's my right. So if you want to watch another exciting fighter and look, find out what all the buzz is about, here he is, Naoya Inoue, the Japanese superstar, and I'm telling you, he's something to talk about, to watch, man. So September 3rd, he's gonna be making that entrance in the ring. What you saying, Zero here? Fallout. You never want to gain weight and lose speed and power. No, you don't. You don't. You don't want to do that. And that's what they're now criticizing Terrence Crawford about, right? All right, how you doing, brother? What does that say? Yes. Yes. Well, not as of this week. He not as of this week. In fact, further back, because Saul Canelo Alvarez was him and Saul were the last two guys, and IBF stripped Saul Canelo Alvarez for their belt, and now he only has three. So from the moment they actually stripped Saul Canelo Alvarez, Naoya Inoue was the only man in boxing with all four belts. From that moment on, whatever date that was, that's when he became the only man in boxing with all four belts. That's how hard that shit is to maintain. At one point, boxing and all the promoters, 2023, you guys remember 2023? Everybody was getting belts. You get four belts. You get four belts. You get four belts. Because what boxing did was they saw that the UFC was really taking off. They were not really pleasing all the fans. And all these promoters must have got together and said, we're going to put the champions to fight the champions. And that's what they did. It was one of the biggest years where the most title fights were sanctioned ever in the history of boxing. Yeah, it was like title fight after title fight. You won two, now let's fight for four. It was like immediate, every weight division. How many belts you got? You got three, I got one, let's fight for all four. And it was just Josh Taylor got him. The Charlo twin had him. Saul Canelo Alvarez had all 4 belts. Naoya Inoue, Devin Haney. Who else? Well, Usyk just recently acquired it, and then he was quickly stripped from the IBF. And he came later in the picture. But I'm talking about the explosion time. Only that era. Yeah, those just to name a few. Yeah. I was starting to think that Boots' fight with Bud would have been very better than moving up to 154. Well, here's the problem with Jaron Boots Ennis and Terrence Crawford. Although they're two highly skilled fighters, they're just two different places in their career. Terrence Crawford, in fact, he's just done all the stuff that we expect Jaron Boots Ennis now to do. And what Jaron Boots Ennis is doing is kind of trying to catapult his career off Terrence Crawford's, name and his status as a fighter. If he can pull that fight off, he would take that all away. Because as far as Jaron Boots Ennis, his career kind of stalled out. His promoter died. He wasn't getting the fights he needed. And he actually never won that belt in the ring until just recently. So to keep it respectable, and this is no shots at Jaron Boots Ennis, he hasn't fought anybody yet. He really hasn't fought anybody. He fought a couple good guys, but no like world champions, like dominant world champions, a former interim champion. Like, Jaron Boots Ennis, I believe they're just trying to rush him along and quickly put him against Terrence Crawford because they know that Terrence Crawford is leaving. But although I would like to see that fight, I don't need for my American team to take out my American team. I'm okay with that. I don't need Terrence Crawford to beat on the next American superstar, Jaron Boots Ennis, to prove that he's better. So you're gonna get our guys to do our own dirty work. Why can't a Ukrainian fighter beat him? Why can't a Japanese fighter beat him? A Mexican? Why can't a Dominican fighter? Someone else, but that our own. In order to beat us, you got to go get us to beat us. And maybe Terrence Crawford doesn't want to take the young American fighter out. Maybe he's trying to tell him, yo, Gunsmoke, check this out. Chill out. you know what I'm saying? I'm leaving. You can have all this. I don't got to be the one to take you out. You see? And Jaron Boots Ennis is looking at it like, yo, relinquish the torch. Either pass the torch or relinquish it, that I'm anxious to be the next superstar. Jaron Boots Ennis only sees red. He only sees blood, just like young Terrence Crawford early in his career, right? Right. But I think Terrence Crawford has put in the work he needed to. You know what I mean? There's Terrence Crawford right there, but he put in the work he needed to. And just beating our guy on the way out, Terrence Crawford got 3-4 fights left in him, tops. I say I'd rather not get that fight with Jaron Boots Ennis and Terrence Crawford. Yeah, unfortunately. Let Terrence Crawford, or make it his last fight. I don't know. I really just would like him to walk out, claim all the belts at 154, and let Jaron Boots Ennis cement his own legacy of these other guys. And stop having us take each other out in crucial moments. Because if Terrence Crawford beats the shit out of Jaron Boots Ennis, he would have knocked off our guy. That's us knocking off us. The United States team. Terrence Crawford, Bud, Devin Haney, Shakur, Tank Davis, they all represent United States. Boxing's a global sport. These are the gold medals. They got to bring them home. They're on the same team. But sometimes just because you're on the same team doesn't mean you can't compete against each other. And we are competing to find out who's the best fighter in the world. But there's a time and place for everything. You don't got to rush this along. So Naoya Inoue one day will be in the conversation that they're going to say, who would win in a fight between you and Junto Nagatoni? That's going to happen. And guess what's going to happen? They're going to have to fight each other. So it's within time, and some of these fights, we would love to get them. Case in point, everybody wants to see Tank Davis, right, fight Shakur Stevenson. Not now, right? But that wasn't the fight we were supposed to get. We were supposed to get Tank Davis versus Loma, right? Loma slides out the back door, and who gets all the criticism? Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson. They're getting all the backlash because Loma slid out the back door. Then Loma and Shakur Stevenson had a few words at the fight. Remember, y'all saw him, and Loma didn't look like he was scared. Loma was like, it looked like he wanted some smoke, right? But that's a boxer keeping his name irrelevant. You could say a lot of things or do a lot of things or show up at a fight, but what are you doing? Are you signing contracts? Are you entering training camps? Are you going to give us the biggest fight, or are you just going to talk about it? Because Loma's got to do something. Because, look, whether or not he was in the mood, you don't play boxing. You don't go out and win a belt, become a world champion, and say now, oh, I'll fight when I want to because these mega fights, I'm not interested in them. Tank Davis is the lottery fight at 135. That's the lottery fight right there at 135. You mean to tell me you're passing up on the lottery fight? And then Tank Davis and Shakur's managers must have been like, yo, you guys do realize you're on the same team. And Loma just slid out the back door. And they said, if you slide out the back door, just let the Americans be American. They'll eat each other. And the fans will talk shit, and they'll take each other out. And then you can get Tank Davis to get Shakur's belt, do your light work. Then Loma, you come in, try to beat Tank and take all the belts. The Americans will always eat themselves. Shh, Loma, staying behind the curtain. And it almost worked. It almost worked. Yeah. Everybody was yelling, fuck that, Tank, I'm Shakur, blah, 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 they'll do this, they'll do that. But I think they finally woke up. I'm not sure. We'll see where all that plays out. But as far as my man right here, Naoya Inoue, one of the smoothest, one of the fastest, one of the craftiest fighters we have today is this guy right here. And I got to admit, I can't wait to see him back in the ring September 3rd. So listen, fight fans, let me check all your messages, see what you guys got to say before we wrap this show up. It's been an amazing show. Please smash that like button for your boy. Come on, support the channel. It gets it out there. That way I can get some views on his video and the world can get, some right information about some of the best fighters here we have today in boxing, and not all this favoritism shit that's always going on in the sport of boxing. And we're here at Round One Sports Talk to keep it fair, to always give boxers their credit, and to talk about some of the biggest fights we have coming up today. So if you got any more comments, drop them in the comment section. Don't forget to give me that like, click that bell notification icon, and we're going to be getting really locking it down on schedules here for times. And I'm really going to lock down on getting these times and these shows at a certain time every single day so that we can have a schedule. But unfortunately, where there comes time, there comes change. I will only be live streaming several times throughout the week. The rest will be videos, and I will be breaking it up so that I can also focus time on merch and making some of these shirts and getting them out to you guys, because as you know, that was my next step. So I want to start really locking a lot of these things out. And of course, my everyday life comes into play. We all have our lives outside of the things we enjoy doing. So We never know, but I can consistently keep a time for you guys, and I must lock it down. I'm gonna look in my algorithm and find out what's being the best time and when to go on, and really go from there and lock it down and really take this Round One Sports Talk to its next level. So, fight fans, it's always been my pleasure to talk boxing and sit here and talk about the best fights that we have. Listen, fight fans, have a good night. It, it, it's been my pleasure. I'm your host, Edwin, here at Round One Sports Talk. I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. Peace.